Welcome to the belfry at St Oswald's Church. These are our wonderful 8 bells. This one is the smallest one of our 8 bells and it weighs about 200 kilograms. These bells are over 300 years old and so over the years they've obviously been looked after. But can you imagine learning a new instrument that was 300 years old? And they also make a lovely lot of noise. But one of the challenges with learning to ring or learning to play this instrument is that with this being 200 kilograms, you can imagine some of the forces that we get when this swings all the way around, which is what it does every time we ring it, and the rope that is then wrapped around this wheel goes up and down in the ringing room and can be quite challenging. So we came up with a plan to make things easier, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So this is the rope that's attached to the bell that we saw up in the belfry, and it goes around the wheel that you could see. So when we ring the bell, what we've got to do is we've got to pull the rope until the bell tips over and then swings all the way around on its own, while the rope gets wrapped around the wheel, which is like this. So with 200 kilograms of bell swinging around up there, you can imagine that things can, if you don't quite know what you're doing, go wrong quite quickly. Now I've been doing this 40 years, so things don't tend to go wrong. But if you can imagine, I was just learning to do this, I didn't really know what to do, and I went like this, then you can see quite quickly, the rope goes out of control, and we've got 200 kilograms. So, with it being a bit tricky to learn to ring on an old full-size bell, we got some of these instead. So, these are our training bells and we are in the clock room at the moment, which is between where we ring the bells with the ropes and the real bells which are above our head in the next room. So why did we get these? Well, a couple of years ago, very sadly, our friend and colleague Andrew Harris passed away, which we're obviously all very saddened by. But at his funeral, he requested that all donations be left towards training, bell training specifically. And so we had a discussion as a group of bell ringers, what should we do with that money? And we decided, after much thought, that actually what we should do is get some training bells to enable us to train people more easily and give us more options in learning to ring different things. So here they are, and you can see that they're basically a wheel, like the wheel on the main bell, and we don't have a bell of 200 kilograms, but we do have a weight, and we need the weight to make it behave like a real bell, and the rope gets wrapped around the wheel just like it does on the real bells. Now what's nice about this is, thanks to electrical ingeniousness and software applications, we're able to connect these bells to a computer so that they do make a noise. So if we're nice and quiet and I just make this bell move a bit, we should hear that. So there we are, so they do make a noise, so when we'll see downstairs, when you ring them, it does sort of bounce, feel and sound like a real bell. Now, as you can see, these are substantial things. They cost quite a lot of money, and so we needed to fundraise alongside the donations from Andrew's funeral. We also had some money that Richard Major won in a competition a few years ago, and we're very grateful to Oswestry Town Council, Veolia, the waste recycling people, Whittington Parish Council, and the Rotary Club of Oswestry for donations that they've made to help us to get enough funds to buy these bells. Now we also saved some money by putting them in ourselves. Myself and our steeplekeeper John spent many days up here and down below making adjustments, creating the space and finally fitting and strengthening the floor, as you can see, so that these training bells could sit here. So they're all ready to go now, and if we go downstairs we'll see how they work. And we're also hoping to get a grant from the Shropshire Association of Bell Ringers, which will really help us towards the costs. But to do that, we need to do the work first. We need to have all the invoices and receipts, and also they need to be approved by the Shropshire Association Bell Advisor, who's actually coming this Thursday to join in with our practice and see the bells in action. So, the bells in action. So here we are, this is one of the training bells, and what you're going to see as I start to ring this, hopefully, is that it's much more gentle and easier to ring. I don't have to put anywhere near as much effort in to get the rope to go up and down nicely, and it seems to behave itself a lot better than the normal bells, the real bells. And I can ring it to a point where actually it behaves just like an real bell, and enables me to learn to practice. And the noise that you can hear is from a computer simulator. So we've got these bells attached to a computer and showing on a video screen or a TV screen over there. So that actually what we can do is we can see when we ring, we can actually see that screen change, and it gives us lots of good options for training new bell ringers, and they can hear what's going on without us making a terrible noise outside. So, these two, as you can now see, amongst the other 8 ropes, are fitted in to our ringing circle. And so not only can we use these 2 bells to learn to ring, but we can actually join them in with the other 8, so that when we get good enough, we'll be able to ring 10 bells. But you won't hear them outside because it'll all be through the computer. And as part of all this work, a number of us have undertaken courses on teaching people to ring bells with the Association of Ringing Teachers, or ART for short. And as part of this training work that we've done, along with this work to put these training bells in, we have been awarded the status of an ART teaching hub for North Shropshire. So what that means is that people who come and learn to ring here are taught using accredited techniques through a very clear programme of progress with different stages along the way. And they have logbooks and receive certificates at certain stages, and you can also be really confident that people who are teaching you have been through these accredited courses themselves and have been assessed and passed to go on and be known as accredited Art Hub teachers. So our hub is connected with Whittington, St Martin's and Ellesmere, and that's something that is developing now. So if you wanted to come and learn to ring here, you'll be taught by professionals, but you'll also be linked up not just with our lovely band of 25 plus ringers, but also people from across North Shropshire who've got a similar interest. And once you get the hang of ringing on those training bells, the world is your oyster, as it were, with ringing bells, not just in this church, but in the other churches in North Shropshire, in other parts of Shropshire, the rest of the country, and actually all over the world. There are bells that you can go and ring once you've kind of mastered the simple and basic techniques. So we're really looking forward to the dedication service on the 2nd of August, which is part of the St Oswald's Day service. And if you're interested in having a go, learning to ring, get in touch.